Welcome to the Worst of the Riot Extra. This week's topic on the show is all about Christmas parties because, of course, you should know this. The Riot's live Christmas party, as of this recording, we're doing that tonight. By the time you hear this, there's a very good chance that it will already have taken place. But nevertheless, either way, RadioU Riot on Facebook and YouTube to enjoy and indulge in that. Now, talking about Christmas parties, it's well known that you need to tread lightly if you're going to an office Christmas party, right? You should. Most people know this is when you need to be on your best behavior.
But many people decide what their best behavior is.
Yeah.
And it's never work appropriate. It's always pushing the line a bit.
There's definitely always somebody. There's a big stereotype around that. And it's not even, I guess it's not even a stereotype. The numbers back it up. There are more HR meetings that come directly after following office Christmas parties where people get themselves into trouble by the way they behave when, I guess, in most cases, right, the drinks are flowing. And so that usually is cause for concern. You're around your coworkers, your higher ups, and yet at the same time, it feels kind of like a trap for people because then they're like, well, you're around these important people, your coworkers, and then also alcohol unlimited for many. That it's not a good mix.
And you think, too, it is kind of a trap, you know? You're supposed to be loose and fun.
Yeah.
And having a good time, but still work appropriate, which shouldn't be that hard for some people to follow, but it is. It seems it's a struggle. People can't keep their mouths shut.
Yeah.
For the most part, saying things that are inappropriate for work, commenting, telling people how they really feel about them, things they would never say at actual work.
Into what some would call romance that maybe otherwise would not be something they would do, but then it's the office party and you drank too much. So that's why many say it's a common tactic, apparently, the 2 drinks and leave saying. That's where you should limit yourself at an office Christmas party. Here's what I was wondering, though. When you talk about office Christmas parties, it's the alcohol is blamed, right? Because again, in many, they just want to loosen people up. They don't want it to feel like work, I guess. So the best way to loosen people up in the planner's mind is to let the drinks flow, get everybody a little loosened up. But, you know, the same thing happens at weddings. And how often do you hear about people after weddings like, oh, I really stepped in it at the wedding. None of the family's going to talk to me now. That feels way more rare than the office party scenario, even though the alcohol situation in many cases is very similar. Why do you think that is?
I think there's 2 answers to this. The first answer is, at the wedding, you're around people that you typically know are your friends. Whereas when you're at work, it's a completely different atmosphere. These people can be your work friends, some of them acquaintances, some of you don't even really know, depending on how big your company is. And so when you're around strangers, they're not as accepting of you as your close friends are. So you could be an idiot at a wedding, and your friends would be like, oh, that's Isaiah.
That's right.
That's
more
Hudson.
Forgiving.
Way more forgiving.
You have more of a history with them.
And they're way more likely to get you in line as well. Whereas at a Christmas party, it's if you're my work friend and you're acting out, I am distancing myself. I can't be. What am I doing? Am I going to go down with the ship with you? I'm going to be like, I'm sorry, Hud. What are you doing? I can't. I'll try to get you in line for a second, but if it's like one of my boys at a wedding, I can try to bring him in a little bit easier because what's the consequence? My mom's going to get mad at me. But if my boss is there, I'm not getting fired. I think that's one reason. I also think at work Christmas parties, it's a very social environment where a lot of people are talking to people you don't usually talk to.
Yeah.
Whereas at weddings, a lot of times people are dancing. And I think when you're dancing at a wedding, you're much less likely to say something stupid. I think a lot of the things is saying dumb things.
A better outlet for
ridiculousness.
Yeah, right. For strange behavior that wouldn't normally be how you would act if you were completely sober at a wedding than at an office where you're still an office party. It's still a work environment in some sense or another.
And you're forced to speak.
Yeah.
Like usually there's not a lot of dancing at holiday Christmas parties for work. Usually you're talking to everybody.
Yeah.
The more you talk, the more opportunity for you to mess up.
And you think about this too. And this goes in line to the idea that it's just different orbits of people. The people at a wedding, more forgiving. They have more of a history with you. And you think, like, to expand that out a little more, they have a more fully formed view. Whereas these people, especially you're talking like bosses, they only know you. They only know the work side of you, and they may not know that very well because they hardly see you. So then the one time they're exposed to you in more at length, you're acting a fool. All this is to say, at your office party, keep it in check. You're better off drinking less or none at all, even though that might feel uncomfortable, than going crazy, because you don't want to be the one making a fool out of yourself.
And the other thing too is, like, if you're at your work Christmas party, that means everybody's adults.
Yeah.
And nobody's going to come in the next day if you were like the life of the party, you were acting crazy, you were nuts, and be like, oh my gosh, last night Hudson was the man. He was, like, nobody's going to do that.
You're not going
like,
to get a promotion for that.
This isn't a movie. Like, this isn't like middle school movie where if you were the crazy wild one, then everyone's going to be like, whoa, Hudson's the coolest. Everyone's going to laugh at you. And if you would rather be one of the more reserved ones.
And we probably are familiar with this happening to people in real life, that if you drank a lot and you, like, in your mind, you're probably thinking, I'm killing it. Like, people are loving this.
Nope.
They're probably annoyed with you. So,
they're annoyed with you, and everything you think you're doing that's cool or funny isn't nearly as cool or funny. Yeah, you're just screaming.
So, yeah, our recommendation definitely is going to be take it easy.
You can still have fun.
Yeah.
I like to have a good time. You can still be fun and outgoing and talk and dance. Do whatever you want to do, but just don't be offensive. Don't be inappropriate.
Yeah. And what harm are you doing by cutting out early at the party, by not really overstaying a welcome? At a Christmas party, office Christmas party, no one's going to think less of you. They're going to forget you're even there anyways. You can't win a lot at a Christmas party. You can definitely lose a lot at an office Christmas party.
Well, I'll tell you this much. If you cut out early of a RadioU Christmas party, I think that might be a little bit down upon.
Well, we're a smaller...
We're a
close-knit group.
There's not very many people. So if you leave, then it's like, all right, well, we got a couple left. Every time someone leaves, like if you leave a big company Christmas party early, nobody's going to notice. If RadioU, we don't have Christmas parties.
Yeah, not real Christmas parties.
We have like the RIOT Christmas party, which is on air, the show that we're going to do.
Yeah.
But like,
that's the closest thing to an actual Christmas party, and it's 3 of us.
Yeah, me, you, and Moneybags.
Yeah.
And Nikki's going to be there too. So 4.
And then whoever shows up to join in on the RadioU RIOT YouTube and Facebook.
Exactly, all of you. But like at someone's house, behind the scenes, off the air.
Yeah.
Why don't we have a Christmas party? Did it get ruined in the past? You've worked here longer than me. Did we ever have one?
We've never had anything in my days here more extensive than the Christmas lunch that we go out, where the whole staff will go out. And to your point, this year, one of our staff members was sick and could not attend. And that was very glaringly obvious. And people were upset, not with that individual, but just upset at the situation.
The circumstance.
Yeah.
That they couldn't make it.
Yeah, because we really wanted him to be there.
And we don't have a lot of people.
A bigger office, you could more anonymously miss out for whatever your excuse is.
If we had a RadioU Christmas party, who would host it? It wouldn't be me.
Nope.
It wouldn't be you.
It definitely would not be me. Would it be... Does Michael
Does he step up to
like
the plate?
A host of a party? You know, I think his wife would definitely step up to the challenge of cooking. She would do great with that.
What about Nikki?
No, can you imagine Nikki hosting a party?
But Nikki would be the perfect person to host it.
The last thing she wants is to have people over to her house.
I know, but she'd be the perfect person to host it because she would be totally fine with it ending at any time.
That is true.
She would not be offended if you left early. She would be glad that we're wrapping things up. And she would have, I could imagine she would have some events, some games for us to play.
Yeah.
I could imagine that. Like if I hosted, I would be like.
I feel like she'd just like set up the Switch. And just be like, let's play some Wii Sports or whatever. Switch Sports.
Nintendo Switch.
No, you know who would host it is Nene. As soon as like the idea arose of like, well, who's going to do it? Nene be like, yeah. because that's his personality. He's
Hopping on.
Yeah. I don't know what his living quarters are like, so I don't know if he would host it at his house or if he tried to do it here, which would be fine. But either way, I feel like he would embrace the thought of coming up with a whole party plan.
I feel like if we did it here, that would be weird. Don't you think?
We have the space for it.
We have the space for it, but like, then what are we doing? You know, like I see you guys every day.
Yeah.
It's not like I have a lack of communication with y'all.
I think a lot of office parties are at the office, though.
I just feel like it would be odd. Like we're gonna go back in the back here.
Yeah.
Have punch. What are we doing? We're chit chatting. It'd be like a normal Tuesday.
And then we play like White Elephant or something.
Okay.
And then
dance.
Well, I don't know.
Can you imagine?
Surprisingly, I don't think there'd be a lot of dancing.
I don't think so either. Have you ever been to a Christmas party?
Of course I have. I've been to an array of Christmas parties. Some I remember from going back to when I worked at a greenhouse, even some that, some Christmas parties where I was a child, but I went with my parents, even though they were like office Christmas parties. I think that is, in some cases, depending on the company, that's okay. It was for my parents because, if you want the one person that works there and then they got to bring their plus one, then what? They got to bring a babysitter or we just make it kid friendly. And so that's what they did. So I in that capacity. And then also the previous radio station I worked at, we had a party that was pretty interesting. And
did things get out of hand?
No, everybody held it together. I remember, let's see, I was part-time there, but when my car was having issues, which is a routine thing for me, it seems, around Christmas, trying to leave, people were very helpful.
You couldn't get out of there?
Yeah, I was having difficulty leaving.
No way.
Yep.
Was that someone's house?
No, it was at like an event center. But I made out okay that night too, because they did is White Elephant or Yankee Swap the one where like there's a big the company buys all these gifts and then you draw numbers or whatever. Yeah. And you go and order the number. The first person picks the gift, and then from there on, every person subsequently can either steal the gift or open a new one. And it so turned out that me and my wife got the two most highly sought after gifts.
No, you didn't.
We did, yeah.
But you probably deserved them when they saw your car not being able to run. They're like, you know what? We won't steal from Hudson.
I got a free vacation day.
Wow.
I was part-time. I don't even think I could use it. So somebody bought it off of me for more than it would have been worth to me.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was pretty exciting.
That is exciting.
Food was good. I think I had salmon. Pretty tasty. It was, catered. Real nice. Now, Panera's Christmas party, way different.
What was that like? I can't believe Panera. So you're Panera. This is just your Panera.
Yeah, I don't know.
Had a Christmas party.
Let's see. It was after Panera had closed, of course. So this is later at night. At Panera. So we're talking after 9 o'clock at Panera, and we did the gift exchange thing. One of the managers and a couple of the higher, not managers, but higher up employees, they had a ball planning this thing. I think they had more fun than anybody getting ready for the party. And I remember that one. I did not fare as well in the gift swap because I wound up with baby butt cream, one of the gag gifts.
Was there music?
No music.
Dang it. I really wanted this. I wanted this Panera. When you said that Panera had a Christmas party, I was imagining you're at Panera. There's the lights are off and it's just Christmas lights. It's like a dance in there. They got music going. People are being inappropriate dancing. Oh, just wild. Darn it.
Yeah.
I really wanted it to be awkward and weird.
Well, a lot of Panera was weird when we would have scenarios like this. And I'll tell you why. Because Panera, because of the nature of there's the cashiers and baristas, which generally tended to be ladies, although I did work my way into that, which is the ideal place to be, by the way. Then there's the sandwich people, which is mostly guys. Then also something else to think about, a lot of, I guess, immigrants, you would say. So a lot of a bit of a language barrier, but they were there too. And then the dishwashers and again the people that would work like the dining room, more guys. So just like a
mixing pot,
quite a melting pot. Yes, mostly around the same age, but then of course you had a few like of the more older people that like had kids or like this.
I didn't think about that.
They're part time. Yeah, like it's just Yeah, you're right. A melting pot of people, and so obviously when you're working, you're kind of in your little clique. But then when it's a party and you're intermingling with all these people, a little different.
How did you do? Would you say? At the party, how'd you do? Did you have a crush on one of the ladies that was there at the time?
No, but I would say at this party in particular, I was not the center of attention. However, and it was partly because I had weaseled my way into the barista cashier section, the bakery section of the Panera. I had established a rapport with just about everybody.
Okay, got it.
I was one of the people liked me.
Needless to say.
Yeah.
Needless to say. Dang,
really
that's awesome, though.
Had to grease some palms there.
I would have died to be a fly on the wall of that Christmas party.
It was not very long of a Christmas party either. But that said, more of a Christmas party than we typically have here at Radio U.
We don't have one.
Although I'm grateful for our Christmas lunch. I feel like I enjoy that more.
I do like the Christmas lunch. I am okay with us not having a Christmas party. Because yet again, if there was like 100 people that worked here, we could have a Christmas party. But there's so few. I talk to everybody every day. What are we going to talk about outside of work?
Yeah.
That we wouldn't talk about at work. And then you have to go somewhere tonight where you have to do something. And a lot of times the Christmas parties are not all they're worked up to be. I haven't been to many Christmas parties because all the places I've worked
here, which we have established doesn't have a real Christmas party. And prior to that, you only worked a couple other places.
The 2 radio stations I worked at before this, no Christmas parties. And one of them was small, like this one is, so that makes sense. The other one was huge. I worked at a huge radio station, no Christmas party. Or maybe I didn't get invited.
Yeah. Were you part-time?
I was part-time at that one.
Yeah, I felt very shocked and honored at the radio station I worked at prior to get an invite to our Christmas party.
I would have heard.
As a part-timer.
I would have heard.
Yeah,
there's no way they had. There would have been talk. I was talking to people in there. I would have known if they had a Christmas party. They didn't, and so I haven't really done the whole Christmas party thing. I mean, I've been to like regular Christmas parties, but not work Christmas parties, which I'm okay with.
You've never been invited as a +1 even?
No.
That's disappointing.
Maybe this is the year.
It could be the year. It's not too late.
We could have a Christmas party.
Oh, I thought that you would get invited to.
Oh, no. Unfortunately, no Christmas parties and all the +1s for me. Not going to work out for me this year, I don't think. But we could throw one here. We'll have a meeting about it.
You got to plan it. And we're really running out of time for that. You could be invited as a +1 tomorrow. We've got 11 days to get a Christmas party going.
True.
So I don't think it's happening.
I don't think so either.
It's the RIOT.